And so what I'm doing is going to record this, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I will press it to get you guys interviewed and interviewing you guys all the way from Belfast. So what I do the Sammy the Metal show, and
awesome.
Play lots of metal bands from around the UK, and as well as big bands, and actually do interviews as well. So this is going to be the only way to do it now for this time being because of the pandemic. So obviously you guys are called Koma.
Yeah.
And so I was going to ask you. I was going to ask a few quick questions. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves one by one and say a wee bio about you, a wee quick bio about what you do in that as well.
Yep.
I'm Bones. I play bass for Koma. Been in a band since I was about maybe 19, so 5 or 6 years. And I don't know, a lot of fun with Koma, so it's definitely the band I want to be in.
Yeah, I'm James. I'm one of the guitarists. Been playing guitar for 12 years or so. Played just in school bands and stuff, and then this is my first proper band. So I'm obviously delighted to have the chance and looking forward to enjoyed what we've done so far, and I'm just really looking forward to getting more stuff released and playing more shows.
Aye.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm the singer. So I haven't been in a band until Koma for about 8 years or so. Quite excited getting back on stage again. Looking forward to rocking a few more gigs with these guys.
Awesome stuff.
I'm Ellis. I'm drummer for Koma. I've been a drummer for 15 years or so now. I've been in all sorts of bands in the past, sort of anything from pop to punk. This is really the first metal band, so it's quite exciting and just fun to be part of.
I'm Michael. I'm the other guitar player in the band. I've been playing for quite a long time now, since I was about 17, 18 kind of thing.
I was back before the pyramids, right?
Yeah, I was actually back just when music was invented. Back when we had lutes instead of guitars. Most of the bands that I've been in previously have been sort of black metal, death metal kind of thing. This is the first time I've had a chance with the band to really sort of explore the kind of music that I like playing and like writing. So it's, again, like the other guys are saying, for me it's very exciting and I'm really enjoying it thus far.
Awesome stuff. It's really good that you've been playing for, all you guys have been playing for a very long time. So what I do, and I was in a band as well. I was in a metal band called Midge, we were called, and we were a covers band. So we actually played Metallica covers, and so we played Enter Sandman, we played One of the Bell Tolls, and we played Seek and Destroy, and just the classic Metallica stuff. I'm quite a big fan of Metallica, so you can actually check that gig out, and it's on my YouTube channel and under CM Headbanger if you want to check that out. And then there should be a video called Mid Full Live Set at Opium Edinburgh, so you see that. So that's our band. So yeah, I've been playing guitar for about 5-6 years, but funny enough, and I don't play. I'm actually, last year I just decided to just throw the towel and not play the guitar anymore. So it's just one of these things. So, and now I'm just focused on doing my radio shows and getting bands interviewed. So of course, we only played that one gig, and then that's it. and it's quite difficult to get bands going around fun here. I mean, around here, unfortunately, it's just one of these things, finding drummers and that. It's all the carry on you have to put up with, unfortunately.
Mm.
But I guess that's the way it goes with bands. So,
I know the struggles of finding a drummer. Took us.
How long did we spend before we got L? We were looking for about 6 months.
Six
Maybe.
Yeah.
We spent crew members like fuck. It was insane.
Takes a long time, sure. And then I think because me and Bones were the first two to start playing together, and then we didn't have a full lineup then for 10 months or something like that. So it's worth persevering, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Took us nearly a year to find everybody. So.
Oh no, sure. The amount of times we thought about packing it in too, and then we got L, and then Mick like a couple of weeks later, and then Simon. Eventually, like the whole lot together quite well.
So, I'll ask you a couple of questions for you guys if you're okay. So I've got a few questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So first one is how did you start the band?
The band started a couple of years ago. I moved back up to Belfast, and I'd been out of music for a while, so I put up a couple of ads on Join My Band, and eventually me and James got in contact. We thought, we'll see what happens. It's the first sort of contact in music since coming back to the city. And after that, we just sort of went up to my house one night. We just sat and jammed, and we're like, you know what? I came from a very sort of 80s Sunset Strip sort of glam scene, and James was a wee bit more sort of periphery architect sort of gent. So it was a really weird mixture. After that, me and James just decided, we'll just keep writing together. There was some cool stuff coming out, and we decided, let's just do this. Let's just make this thing. So pretty much snowballed from there. Like I said, it was about 6 months before we got L, and after that, the rest pulled together.
Yeah, so it took a while getting the lineup together, but it's definitely been worth it because we ended up finding the right people for what we're trying to do, which is nice as well. Like lots of different influences.
There's lots of different genres sort of being pulled. Hard on together in this.
What genres would you see guys influence then? Bands? What bands do you influence?
It's a genuinely hard question. Because
I think some of the
I think common ground would probably be bands like Trivium, Bullet for My Valentine, Machine Head, bands like that. Be sort of come together in the middle a wee bit.
Trivium and Machine Head, some modern sounding metal, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, and Trivium was good back in the day when they had the Shogun album. And the Shogun album dropped out. I think that's one of my favourite Trivium albums. It's got that sort of classic thrash sound to it, but it still sounds modern when you listen to it. It's like they're quite like the modern Metallicas. Just carry on what you're saying about the influence.
There's a lot of it is. I think it's quite unusual for us compared to a lot of our sort of contemporaries, our peers, particularly in the Belfast scene, because we have such a wide range of influences. With Bones, you have a lot of the sort of, as he says, the Sunset Strip thing. The like of Motley Crue, Poison, that kind of thing. But then, as he headed toward the more modern and heavier end of that, a lot of, particularly with bands like of Motionless in White, that kind of thing. But then on that, you have L on the other side of it. His influences, from what I've seen thus far, are very much from a punk power pop almost kind of thing, but he has a lot of funk and jazz and groove stuff in there as well. So having those two as our rhythm section from being at quite different ends of the musical spectrum. And then on the front line for the guitars, James is a full, like, classically trained jazz and blues monster, and a lot of the stuff that I would bring into it would come more from the death and black metal end of things. It makes for a very interesting. It gives us a lot of different areas of influence and expertise to draw on, because we're used to writing songs in different styles, I think. And then Simon, he's a very sort of, in terms of his delivery live vocally, he's very almost like Randy Blythe or Devin Townsend kind of thing. That real sort of strong, heavy vocal, without it being, without it. Yeah, he has a very broad range, a very dynamic voice. So you do get that modern heavy thing, but without it ever going down the road of that yappy, hectoring kind of vocal that guys that like Rob Flynn or Dave Drummond from Disturbed would bring to it. Because to me, it's almost kind of, they're very good at what they do, but they're very good at that one thing. It's kind of monotonous, I find. Whereas with Simon, he has a lot more dynamic throw to his vocal. It makes it a lot easier for us having those 5 different sets of very clear influences, because if one guy is writing something that maybe doesn't necessarily work, somebody else can come in with something that maybe that person wouldn't have thought of, because it's not normally in their wheelhouse, their sort of area. It means that we can cover each other a lot better, and we can all help with the writing a lot more. So go ahead.
Really handy touching on there is the fact that we've got so many influences across the board that, for say sake, if I did take the likes of Shysko, where there's the halftime beat, that would sort of come a lot more from that sort of halftime pop punky sort of thing. That L would have, natural L. That works really well for us. They all do sort of common space that they all sort of live in. So being able to draw those influences outside of that, it's really, really handy to have all those tools at our disposal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's amazing. That's really good. You take so many influences from so many bands. Amazing stuff. So I'll ask you another question. And I'll ask you. So I've got a few questions on this list that's with my phone. So, and I'll say what amps and what's your amps, guitars, and gear? What's you?
It's the juicy stuff. This is where I
Guitars and that.
Al, do you want to start with that? Because the drummer's
start from the back.
I use a Mapex Horizon kit. It's a walnut birch finish. I'm a little bit unconventional as a metal drummer. 1 kick drum, 1 rack tom, 1 floor tom. So, but it's a 13-inch rack tom and a 16-inch floor tom with a 24-inch kick drum. So it's all sort of big, beefy, heavy drums. And I use it's a Premier Artist Edition birch snare. So again, it's a 14 by 6.5 inch, so it's a big, powerful thing. So there's no sort of wimping about with my stuff. And I use Ramo heads on those because they're just sort of what I've always used and I've always got along with them. And then I use minor cymbals again. My first set of cymbals I ever bought was a minor cymbals, and I've just stuck with them.
Must be old. They must be getting on for some time. They must be getting.
I've replaced them over the years.
Oh right.
The only original in that setup was the China that I bought about 7 years ago, and the only reason that's still there is because I don't want to replace it. I've not found anything that sounds like it, so I use.
Okay.
I use the Classic Custom Metal series for my hi-hats, which are 14. I've got an 18-inch metal crash and a 20-inch ride with an 8-inch bell on it. And then I've got a HCS China cymbal, and I have a Classic Custom 20-inch crash as well. So yeah, that's my cymbal setup really, and I just use a single kick pedal. There's a bit of a story behind it, but it's just a case of it's what I'm most comfortable with. So it's sort of that's a Demon Drive kick pedal, and then I've just recently signed an endorsement deal with Joe's Drumsticks, so I use their sticks. Yeah, again, something I discovered a couple of years ago. They're quite new on the scene, and their sticks are really durable and lightweight but hard hitting. So I contacted them, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll have you on board." So that's
Amazing.
my gear rundown, really.
So yeah, and what about phones? What do you play?
I play an Ibanez SR 300E bass. So I'll be playing Ibanez SR 300E. 4-string bass, really light. It's quite thin. Had a bit of trouble with it up until recently. But got that sorted out. Just heavier strings. I'm actually playing. Pretty sure it was bottom shelf of 5 strings. So playing that with my Legato wireless rig. Really good as well. It's got plenty of range on it. That's
good. You don't need to up with all the cables in that.
Exactly, it's great. All of us have sort of been playing wireless kits. Means we can get off stage, go for a wander about, which we did at our first show.
That's a good thing for when you're playing the band. You want to have this sort of walking around stage and not sitting near the amplifiers all the time.
Exactly. It is nice. I'll be playing that through. It is an Ashdown. See, it's the Mag 300 head, and that's through a Harley Benton 2x12 cab. Phenomenal sound comes out of it. It sounds pissed off when you play it, and that's exactly just what I want. And that's
I've not heard it enough saying that, but I've got to sound awesome, I reckon.
It is. It's beefy. It's tasty.
Sweet.
Yeah. Mick?
For this band, I'm using Schecter guitars. I'm running a Demon 6 FR, just straight ahead, 6-string mahogany body, maple neck, rosewood board, Floyd Rose on it. It has a set of active Duncans in it. I've disconnected the tone pot on it, as I do with all my guitars, just for personal preference, because I like the signal running a little bit hotter than normal, particularly with the active pickups, just to really hit the front of the amp hard. For guitars, I'm also in the process of building a guitar that I'll be using for this band.
That's awesome. And is it like a metal? Is it going to be like a sort of metal type guitar?
Yeah, absolutely. The body on it is from an Ibanez RG. The neck on it is a custom neck profile that I've built myself. Again, it's just going to be twin humbuckers and then a hardtail bridge. I always use 24 fret necks just to give me that little bit of extra range. Amplification, I'm a Boss guy. I use Katana, the 100-watt combo. And into the front of that, I run an ME50 multi-effects unit. And most of my settings are actually on the Katana itself, and then for my tone, and then the ME50, I'll use it for a wah pedal, a lead boost, and a chorus effect for just to warm up lead tones a little bit. And that's about it, really. I tend to keep it quite simple. I've used all sorts of various setups in the past, running from proper high gain tube head to full digital modeling systems, and I find the Katana setup, this is the easiest setup that I've had to use, because with everything being stored on the amp and stored on the pedal, you literally just plug it in, turn it on, and it's your sound no matter where you are. The other thing that I really like about it is because it's a combo amp, which is kind of, it's not something that up until recently you would have seen a lot of metal bands using. They would use it had to be a big tube head, the big 4x12 and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But I much prefer the combo, simply because you're not then at the mercy of a cabinet that maybe somebody else is using. You always know what you're going to get, and it's just a lot easier to transport, because it's only a 1x12 combo.
Yeah. because you don't have to worry about worry about the head and that, and you have
Exactly.
to track that separately as well. So if you get a combo, it's basically the amp, the head built into the amplifier.
Exactly. You always know what you're going to get and how you're going to get it. You know, it makes things very simple.
Yeah, indeed.
James?
Yeah, so my main guitar for Koma is my 2012 Les Paul Studio. Just one of those ones that Gibson brought out sort of back before their studios were stupid prices. Alpine white, gold hardware, rosewood board, stock pickups in it, and I've had it since it's a 2012 model. I think I got it in early 2013. And it sounds brilliant. It sounds heavy. It's only lightly chambered as well, so you get a big sort of beefy mahogany kick from it, mahogany neck as well. So it sounds huge. That's my main guitar. I also use an LTD M1000 with Floyd Rose, although I haven't actually used that in any of our recordings yet. Amps wise, I actually don't use an amp. I use Line 6 Pod HD500X, which we also used to record the guitars and bass tones for Horde, our single the only single we've released so far. And I use that into the power amp of a Blackstar HT20 just live, but generally for practicing recording and everything, just use headphone outs for that. So I've always been I've used modelers forever, and I find them really, really handy because, as Mick says, you can sort of plug in and you'll have the same tone, generally speaking. Very handy, as a tool, because you can use it for recording, practice, and also live. And it's the floorboard model, so really handy to use live because it's a full pedal board as well.
Awesome stuff, guys. And so I'll tell you about my gear then. And I have an ESP. I actually have a few guitars myself, and the guitar that I really, really like is a signature model of Guy Holt's GX600 ESP Limited, and absolutely sick ass guitar for sure. So you see with that guitar when Guy Holt was playing, Reeve was playing that in Slayer that time when I saw them, and it's an amazing guitar. I like the paint job on the GX600, and awesome guitar. Just a modern looking guitar as well. It's like a modern, obviously the ESP, based on the ESPs, the Crips models are kind of like the Les Paul's bodies, but like more modern style in the Les Paul. So that's one of my guitars. And I also own the Ibanez as well. I don't know the model unfortunately, but it's one of these Ibanezes I think you'll be familiar with. So I own that. And amp wise, then I've got a Rapstar ID60, which I believe is a 60 watt amp. If it's ID60, I believe stands for 60 watt. And I own there's a combo obviously as well. And I don't have any heads myself. I'm like what you were saying earlier. I mean, easier to transport them, and it's not much of a hassle. And I have like a really small amplifier as well, like a really small Rapstar practice amp as well that I use just in house use. And and also I actually have a Kemper as well, believe it or not. And you might have seen me using that on the music in the live set of Midge. So I was using that, connecting the guitar. And when I was playing the gig that time in 2018, and it's that long ago, how time just goes through, and it didn't feel that long ago. So I was using a Kemper and it was getting connected. It was coming through the PA obviously, so it wasn't much of a hassle when setting. It wasn't very much of a hassle when setting up lines and that. But it was good. It's really good. Some bands nowadays use Kempers, I believe. Is that right? Me saying that? Do bands use Kempers?
Kemper's the industry standard for backline for festivals now, simply because it has the ability to plug a USB drive into it, which means that if you use a Kemper, you plug your USB into it,
so
you hit the button, and
your profile as obviously, and you can come up with sounds and custom ones, like signature ones from different guitar players. That's the thing about Kempers. It's really unique having something like a wee box, like a sort of box, and you have all the, you can put like hundreds of thousands of profilers in, so you can just get a different guitar tone in a click. Simple as that. Rather than you buying a new guitar, and then obviously buying a new guitar, spending loads of money, and then obviously you can just get it in the Kemper. It's a really good thing.
Right.
So I'll use that. And I have a few other guitars lying around. I have the first guitar I believe was a BC Litz Warlock. It's a really cheap model, and I actually got that. I only got that. I think it was only like less than £200 for that guitar, and it was only a basic Warlock. It wasn't one of these ones that can just. I don't think it would do very well because I believe it's the jack is actually broken on it, so what I've done is just kept it in the cupboard, and I've not been using it since for years now. So it's a lead one as well. It's like a metallic lead. So that's one of my guitars. I think I have a Les Paul lying around as well. Like I'm not sure what just a black Les Paul wasn't. It isn't a. I don't know if it's what model exactly it is. I'm not that good at explaining guitar models, to be honest, but I do know the signature guitars obviously. But when it comes to guitars, I'm quite mindful of guitar models and Foxway. So that's the way it goes. I was going to ask you a few other questions. I'm going to ask you more questions. So, I know I heard your news. I know I heard your song. And your song, I think it's the one song you guys had out on YouTube. And what's the name of it again?
Forward.
Oh, Todd. That's it. That was the word I was looking for. And yeah, that was a really good song. Really good song. So that's the only song you guys have released at the moment. The only single you have out.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you guys planning to release any new music?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, I think the plan is when this lockdown thing goes away and we can get back into a studio, I would imagine that we'll be putting out an EP. Initially, we had planned to have an EP out around about the sort of middle of the summertime. As everything stands, I now think we're more than likely looking at, if we can get it out by the end of the year, I think we would sort of take that. Ideally, what I would like to do, and I mean what we would all like to do, all things being equal, if it's possible, would be to get the release out sort of maybe toward the middle or later part of the autumn, and then that would give us a few months to tour it before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just with the way things are at the minute, it's really, really hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
I know quite a few people that would work for various touring bands in different capacities, and they have all, in the UK and further afield, and they have all been told, quote unquote, unofficially, that they can reasonably expect to be pretty much taking the rest of this year off.
I know, because it's the same here. A lot of the bands around here are not playing gigs, and we have we actually have quite a decent metal scene. Or we don't have any big. We have we have the Exploited. I was about to say we didn't have any big bands come from Edinburgh, but we have the Exploited. It's a punk band. I think you're quite familiar with that name.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're from here, so they're quite. But I don't think they play Edinburgh very often. But oh no, Edinburgh has quite a local metal scene. So a lot of the bands from Edinburgh, and they're quite small. Like they probably have played in the UK. Some of the bands like a band called Ifyam. It's a really good thrash metal band from here. They're doing quite well for themselves. They're playing a lot of gigs in the UK. I think they might have crossed along the pond to Belfast. I think maybe before at one point. I think I could be wrong, but I think they went to Ireland as well. And we have Dog Tired as well, which is another amazing band from here. And Dog Tired are like amazing. They're like the Panteras from Edinburgh. Like pretty much the sounds they have like a really cool sort of groove metal sound to their music. You should definitely check them out. Amazing bands. They might have come over to Ireland as well.
Yeah,
Have you heard of them?
give them a look. I can't say that I have so far, but I'll definitely give them a look. It's
Absolutely, good band. We'll get some name drops as well on this stream as well, so it's might be quite good. Yeah, good shout outs as well with these bands, If You Am and Dog Tired, and some of the Edinburgh, some of the homely bands getting the wee name drop. And we also have another good band called and we've got a band called Electro Spirit as well, which are fun here as well. Grunge band. We've got King Witch as well. Another amazing band. I think they're actually doing really well. They're like doom stoner metal. Amazing band. And we have Iron Altar, another strud metal band fun here as well. There's quite a lot of bands from Edinburgh and a lot of local bands. So we don't have we have most of the bands that are from Edinburgh are not like bands that will had they've made a name for themselves in the world, but I know they're quite well when they play Edinburgh. Obviously, it's really good for them to get the home fans coming along. I think a lot of the bands from Glasgow, a lot of the fans from Glasgow come along to Edinburgh to see some of the Edinburgh bands, and I think that's how it works. And so we have quite a good metal scene, but I'll say as I said, a lot of the gigs will be cancelled. A lot of the gigs here are cancelled as well, so we're kind of left out as well, not seeing all these bands. And so, yeah, I really hope this gets back. Hopefully this will go away and it'll be business as usual once this goes. Get some bands. The last band I saw was Testament in Glasgow on the 8th of March. This was before this came along. I was saying this is what caused all this before the pandemic came along, and obviously that's caused all the gigs being cancelled. So it was really good. I managed to see Testament before this all kicked off and everything just went quiet. And Testament and Exodus and Death Angel. That's an amazing gig. It was really good then seeing these bands. I always wanted to see Exodus, and then it's good that Guy Holt's back in the band, back in Exodus as well. So amazing band. They're getting on of it as well. So obviously these thrash metal bands just getting on of it. But so I'll ask what your metal scene's like then. What bands do you have across the pond?
I'll let Mick take this one.
There's the thing is, because Belfast is such a small city, really, it's kind of strange. You have an awful lot of bands, but maybe not so many musicians. You'll maybe find that a lot of guys that would be in a band are in 2 or 3 different bands across various styles or subgenres, just because, particularly with the like of drummers, bass players, that kind of thing, things that are slightly more uncommon. You would find the guys will do double duty in a lot of bands. But we do have a lot of everything, coming from, you have everything over here, really, everything from like sort of classic rock and metal right up to the really extreme
death metal.
The sort of the flat out black and death metal. There's a lot of really interesting, particularly the death metal stuff coming out of here now. There's just all sorts of different things, really. It's the same. It's the same as anywhere else. There's an awful lot of bands, and some of them are really, really exceptional.
Others think they are.
I'll not name names simply because if I do start naming names, then I'll forget somebody that I really should mention, and I'll feel like an idiot for doing it.
That's fair dues. And
there are a lot of. I do have to be, in all honesty, there are an awful lot of very, very good bands in Belfast, and even slightly further afield, like particularly with Dublin, because there'd be an awful lot of crossover between Belfast and Dublin. And
Yeah, I would think so. I would think a lot of the bands from down there would come up here, come up to Belfast to play gigs as well.
you're exactly right. It's quite common. Pardon?
That's like our first gig.
Yeah, right enough. Actually, our first gig
Yeah.
we had a band from Dublin, Witch Kicker, playing with us. They
So
were
you
good.
praise the first gig there in Dublin.
No, our first gig was in Belfast, and they came up from Dublin.
Okay,
It's
okay.
a lot of the time it's basically sort of because it is such a small place geographically, you'll get a lot of crossover that people will know people in different cities, and then you'll do a lot of gig swaps. Like a band from Belfast will arrange a show and bring a band from Dublin up to play on it, and then the band from Dublin will organize a gig and get the guys from Belfast down to play on it. There's the main problem that we have in Belfast is that there is a distinct lack of smaller sized venues. Venues that are suitable for bands that are maybe just starting out, or
Yeah,
playing their first few shows. We're very lucky in that the ones that we do have, places like like Voodoo, like the Limelight, like the Pavilion to an extent. The venues that we
Amherst as
have.
well. Good one.
Yes, well held that, man. Palmer's is a great venue. We are very lucky in that the venues that we have of that size are exceptional. They are small, but they are legitimately very, very good venues.
yeah,
There's just not very many of them, which sometimes leads to the problem that if you're wanting to do gigging with any kind of regularity in the city, you sometimes find yourself playing in the same venues over and over and over again, which does unfortunately mean that you fall victim to the law of diminishing returns a lot of the time. Um, like one of the bands that I was in previously, I remember we went through a patch playing in a Belfast venue called Voodoo. Now it's a fantastic venue. It really is. It's a great place to play. I love playing it. But in my last band, at one point, we played there 4 times in the space of 3 weeks. And it's like, I mean, I love gigging, but when
kind of
people,
feels like a copy and paste thing, eh?
yeah, I mean, and as much as we love it,
Yeah,
as much as we love the venue and as much as we love playing, it's like, that people are getting bored of you because it's like,
mm,
God, these
you
guys
just-
again. So it's kind of for booking gigs, for Belfast, you do kind of have to pick your battles. You can't just be going out and playing the same 3 and 4 venues week in, week out, because people are just going to get sick of you. You're just going to burn the venues out. Whereas,
So maybe for other bands to come along and take the spot as well, maybe, and
yeah,
then play it, and maybe in a few months' time you come back and then play again. That's what happens to you. Some of the bands play the same venue in a couple months' time, so I think that's fine. We
absolutely.
have a few. We want to have a couple of venues around Edinburgh as well. We want more about like big venues. We don't have big bands that come along to Edinburgh to play. So most of the bands from bigger bands from some of the bigger bands. I mean, will go and play in Glasgow. So that's what they mean. So they have like have their sort of bigger venues to get to house the bigger bands. So that's what I mean. So
To be honest, we have
we
a couple of
kind
venues
of like
here that are really, really good for housing sort of even bigger bands. One of the last gigs I played before Koma became a thing was the Empire. I played that supporting Argyle Goolsby. It was over there. It was a really good show. It was the first venue that we played in Belfast that actually had like a dedicated backstage area. Really, really
that's
interesting.
cool.
You could actually like go on stage in the back. It was really, really handy that way. I haven't played in Voodoo in about 4 or 5 years. America's been telling me it's changed loads. It's really, the last time I played there, it was just a stage like in the corner, but now apparently it's a proper full stage, with the width of the room sort of deal. And really, really looking forward to getting playing there once obviously lockdown's over. To be honest, at this rate, I really don't care what we do once lockdown's over, so long as it's Koma. I'm happy. Like, I want to get back out there, especially after that Limelight show. That Limelight show was insane. It was so good. I mean, we've been saying for ages, like me and Mick, between me and Mick, we would have the most experience like gigging in Belfast, and sort of surrounding areas. But we've never ever, I mean, maybe once or twice out of our entire gigging career, seen an encore after a show. Then like we played our debut gig, and our audience, there's videos, the entire audience, they would call out for one more song. So stuff like that's really, really cool. It's really nice to have that, especially in a sort of local venue where audiences can be a little bit stone faced. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing people that go to gigs around here, but sometimes it can be hard, as with gigging anywhere, it can be hard. Get up in front of an audience that's just going to do everything. You have to,
I think the problem with that though is, and it's a nice problem to have, that sometimes the crowds in Belfast are quite hard to impress, and that's. I mean, I certainly don't mean that as a knock. It's simply because, particularly over the last sort of 5 to 6 years, the quality of the bands coming out of Belfast has just ramped up and up and up and up. So people are used to seeing very good bands, even quite early in their tenure, as it were, that, it's not so much the way it used to be where, anybody that could knock 3 chords together would get up and play. It's because the bands that are coming out are so good that the bar has really been raised for new bands in Belfast over the last 5 years.
That's good. That's really good.
It is good because
it
drives you to work harder, because the crowd is that bit more discerning. You're not going to get away with half-assing it. You have to be good, because if you're not, you're gonna get shot down. And I mean, I think that's the way it should be. I think I would personally, I would much rather if I played a bad gig, and it has happened. It's happened an awful lot more times than I would like it to have happened. But I would much rather have somebody come up to me and say, "You can improve this, this, and this," as opposed to just coming up and going, "Yeah, that was fantastic. You're the best thing ever."
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like after our last show, we have certainly been made aware of a couple of points we do need to improve on. So,
yes, absolutely.
Our next live show for sure, we will adhere to that. We'll make sure that the advice is taken on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, when it's constructive advice, it's all a learning curve, and it all helps.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So I'll ask you a couple more questions then, because we'll probably have to wrap this interview up soon, if you don't mind.
That's perfectly fine.
But so I'm going to ask you another question. So what are your hobbies and interests? This is not music, and this doesn't count as playing an instrument. Obviously, this is just as a general what you do when you're not playing music.
See, what's really cool about this band is there's so many different, like, in terms of what we mentioned earlier on, we're all very different in our music interests. What's really interesting about this is that outside of that, our interests are still incredibly varied. I mean, to be honest, outside of playing music and outside of anything like that, I would sit in front of the PlayStation for a while.
Oh yes, I play about a PlayStation myself and PS4, man.
The majority of the time, I am going to be sat in the studio just messing around.
What games do you play then?
I haven't really played much recently. I started playing Destiny again recently.
Next one. Can't wait. And I play Farming Simulator. This is a simulator game, and you get that's on PSO as well. So quite as a game, I'm sure you've seen it before. You just drive tractors. Obviously, that's what it's about. It seems off a game now. Everyone seems to be talking about it a lot more. It's like a game. It's like one of the more popular simulator games. So I play a lot of simulator games. I play in WWE 2K as well. WWE 2K 19, not 20, because the 20 is an absolutely dumpster fire. If you've seen how bad that. Do you play WWE 2K, Bones? Do you play WWE 2K?
I haven't. No, I haven't played anything like that, to be honest. Like I said, over the last while, especially with getting Koma up and running, I just haven't really had much interest in anything
Not been
else.
playing much. Just get on the bike, just getting on the music day, and that's what I mean.
Pretty much, yeah. We've just been solid.
Well,
I
apparently I'm just playing PS4. I think during this pandemic, obviously, so I'll get more time to play a bit of WWE 2K and that 2K19. Just then, I've got some really cool metal egg creations as well. It's in my channel as well. So,
Sweet.
so
See, what's cool as well is James is a hockey player outside of Koma, which is really cool.
is he?
So keeping that sort of streak.
Yeah, I played hockey now for, I don't know, 15 years or something. So that's actually what I spend most of my time doing. I try to play guitar a lot. Other than that, I'd probably spend most of the time either like running in the gym or playing hockey. So keeps me fairly busy. Keeps you out of trouble, keeps me out of the pub.
Yeah. That's really cool. Really cool. You do something, do sport, like it gets you going around the world and that. And
it's interesting as well because gamers and athletes, and then Mick spends a lot of time exploring the Shire. Brought some really interesting interesting finds to rehearsal.
Ironically enough, when I'm not playing music, I actually work for another band. For many, many years now, I've been a guitar technician, stage rigger. That's how I got into music, even over and above playing before I started playing.
I'll be back in a couple of seconds, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Before I started playing, I was a rigger for bands, so I've done everything from backline technician, guitar technician, pyrotech, all sorts of stuff. And when I'm not doing that, if I have any time left over, I like to watch a lot of sports. Be a big fan of like boxing, pro wrestling. I'm huge.
You're wrestling fan as well. Wow, I like my wrestling.
Watch a lot of American football too. So that's about it, really.
And I'm big into wrestling myself too. I don't watch much WWE, but I watch a lot of the independent wrestling. This is a good thing to watch. And I watched this recently. I watched something called GTS wrestling, which is a backyard wrestling. It's GTS wrestling, and it's like an American backyard wrestling. You can kind of search that up. It's a really good wrestling promotion.
Right. Good luck.
I don't know if they'll be doing any shows because of the pandemic, obviously. But they do it in the backyard, so I wouldn't think it would be. I would think it would have been not much of an issue, but it is apparently. So not doing much of the shows. So what they need to put videos up every day apparently, and it's a good thing to keep all the audience going as well. And GTS wrestling, it's just amazing.
Sure.
And I'll ask you a couple more questions before we round this interview off. Is there is there a dream gig you like to play? Like a dream gig? This is just imagine being like a big massive metal gig, something like that.
Download.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. Apparently that's cancelled as well. So not this year. So maybe 2021.
We'll get them next year.
So download, do you want to play download? So you would like to play download as a dream gig? Would you like to get on the main stage?
Yeah, either download or an opening act on Knotfest.
Knotfest, because that's coming to UK and it's coming to UK in August, wasn't it? And down in somewhere down. It's not here. It's not in Scotland, obviously, but it's somewhere in England.
To be honest, it
might not happen, unfortunately. That's what I mean.
The one sort of show I would really wanted to play was actually another local band from here called Maverick. They went on tour with Crash Diet, and I'm still not okay with it. It would have been a really sick tour to be on. I'm a massive Crash Diet fan.
It would have been actually amazing. It would have been amazing.
That would have been one for me, or else maybe I
I
don't
did
know, halfway
see,
through the
I
final
did
tour
see
once
you
they
had
actually do
Slipknot on the screen there. You got Slipknot on at the moment, haven't you?
it.
I
No,
think
that's
you
both
had
went on.
Slipknot at one point. So I just noticed. I just
There was stuff on at one point.
got Bullets on, so I just see you had Slipknot on. I like Slipknot. It's one of these bands that do really cool sounds to their music as well. But I saw them in 2015. This is when not that album, not in the previous album, when the Grey Chapter dropped. That just dropped, and then I saw them in 2015 with Colin and King at 10. And that was a good gig. I've not seen Slipknot this year, obviously. They played earlier this year. They played in Glasgow earlier this year, but I didn't go to that one, unfortunately. So that would have been a good gig as well.
Yeah.
And I've seen Killswitch Engage last year in Glasgow. They're good with Levication, and I believe there was a band called Tent Style, which I don't know if you've heard of them. They're German metalcore band, like a sort of, I say they're like a sort of mid-sized band. They're probably not. They opened the show off. Don't know if they're a band you've heard of, but that's one band that I've seen. Tent Side, so a band. But I really enjoyed my vacation. They were amazing. I met Brett backstage. It was amazing. I had a photograph, and my pal we took a photo. And my pal went to that gig together, and it was amazing. I met Brett, the bass player from the vacation, and I had a photo with them together. We had a photo together. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing dude. He was actually sweating after that gig. He just came off the stage when he came through. And I bought an album. I bought the Revocation album off them as well, which is good. It's a good way to buy albums at gigs, rather than buying them in stores. Obviously, like your HMV and stuff like that. And so, yeah. It's a really good way to buy albums. I think when you go to gigs, you should buy them off the band member, which that's what we did.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So I've got a few more questions. What's you have any plans for a mini tour? I don't know if there's a count at the moment, obviously, but if you have plans for a tour, you might come to Scotland or UK, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we would play anywhere quite happily.
It'd be good if you guys do come to Edinburgh, because that would be cool. I think Ken, you'll be supporting some of the Edinburgh bands, like I reckon.
We would happily do that.
Like
And
Barrowman's would with house you guys. And so,
any promoters that are sort of in your area that want to give us a shout?
and I don't know them personally. I just generally when I go to the metal scene, and I don't tend to. Well, it's difficult to speak to these metal ones when I go to them, because obviously they've loud brain music playing in the background. I actually hate it being in there, unfortunately. Doing when there's loud music playing in the background, that's kind of really difficult. Can't really cope with that until we actually something like now is actually really comfortable.
Yeah,
it really helps as well when you have all the raising music in the background. It just makes it so difficult. I actually hate it, and well, soon we say hate, but I dislike speaking to people in gigs when there's loud music. So I mean, I don't know personally. I know I just speak to some of the metalheads when I go to the gigs. I don't tend to speak to them when I'm not out and about. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I don't have much of a connection to the metal scene. Well, I do have a connection, but just generally when I'm not going to gigs, because I don't always go to gigs all the time, and I just have this sort of, it kind of disconnects to me the metal scene when I'm not when I'm not at gigs. Funny enough. So, just funny enough, I don't have many metal friends.
It'd be quite nice, obviously once lockdown's over, we do anticipate to look towards plans for tour. So
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Any cities,
trying to hit the ground running once it's all over.
Yeah, realistically, if we've got a couple of cities lined up that we've got contacts in, we would be more than happy to organise something. Like I said, maybe a couple of days.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
Guys, Edinburgh, so hopefully you will.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, got probably got one or two more questions to ask. I'm just looking through that question list on my phone. Trying to think where I'm going to start. I just wanted to say something about anything you'd like to say to the listeners. This might just be like a shout, just a listen, like shout if you want to listen to. Just say something about your song, like about your track and that. Just the random shout outs if you want to say.
Basically, listen to it. It's on YouTube. If you type in Koma Belfast Horde, HORDE, I believe it's the first search result that comes up. It's also on Spotify, to the best of my knowledge. And give the track a look on YouTube, simply because there's links to all our social media in the description.
Yeah. And we've
Check
got a lyric video to it.
Yes, we do actually as well.
Very good before as well.
You got music videos.
Sing along and
I mean, if there's anyone out there that's got any playlists that on Spotify you would want to add Horde into it, work away. The more
I heard the song earlier on. It was really good. So I got to give it a play on the show for sure. It's another thing.
Yeah,
we put a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears into it. So it's just
good. It's really enjoyed it. And
yeah, it's good. I mean, hopefully, like I said, in a couple of months' time, we'll have some more material ready to go. It's just at the minute, lockdown, can't get into the studio, we can't really get anything done. But once we're out of the studio, we plan on having our debut EP released. We've got the songs ready at the moment, and as well as that, between us, we've got about maybe another 9 or 10 songs sitting on the back burner that we can sort of dissect and we can get ready to go. So we do as well. EP's out and we've gigged it a bit. Want to start looking at plans for an album, but we'll see how we get on once lockdown.
Yeah.
The way they are.
It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good to play it. So yeah. I think guys. I'm probably going and I'm going to say thank you very much to take the time to do this interview, this Skype interview. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come along, and it was really a good pleasure to do this. So, you want to say anything to me? Anything you want to say? Anything you like to say to me as well? And anything like Sam Radio?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Check the YouTube out, get on the social media, and if anybody fancies getting us over to Edinburgh, just light us up. We'll come.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
So thank you very much then, guys, for taking the time. And I'm just going to actually just start the recording now. So